Alright, so this is going to be a little bit cheating because I have actually seen this movie before. I mean, it's a good movie. What can I say? It's a very surprisingly very good movie. Now, even though this movie has gained a lot of controversy over the years because technically it's supposed to be the very first documentary ever made, allegedly, supposedly, because a lot of people believe that most of this movie has been staged, and for most parts of this movie, yeah, it really does look like it's staged. Like, for example, you would see Nanook and he is wearing furs and he's hunting a walrus with a harpoon, even though the Inuit tribes at the time were wearing modern clothes and also they were using guns. Either way, I still find it absolutely fascinating because at one point this is how the Inuit people used to live. Now, I forgot to say the title of this movie. Nanook of the North. So Nanook of the North is basically the very first documentary film, and it was made in 1922 by one of the most interesting directors that I can think of. He was fascinated with landmarks. He was fascinated with wildlife and all that stuff. And he would take cameras, film all of it, and basically he was a man that was basically the father of all documentaries, and he wanted to make a film about the Inuit tribes. He wanted to go up there, film tribal people and show how they would live in the Arctic Circle. And he was about to present that to the entire world, but a cigarette accident later and all of that is gone from history. But he was determined. He was determined to make this movie. So with a little bit of funding, he was able to go back up there, and instead of filming a whole bunch of families, he's just going to focus on one. And he chose this one family to film in this hour-long movie. And it took basically he spent years just trying to get this movie together. So he's following this family around for several weeks to see how they would live. Now, technically, the man who plays Nanook, his name is not really Nanook because technically Nanook is actually the word polar bear in the native language. His real name, on the other hand, it's complicated. It's really long, and I don't think I'm gonna pronounce it correctly in this review. And as a matter of fact, I don't think I really know how to say it at all. I think it starts with an A. But either way, you see him. This is his lifestyle. He is protecting his family in this really harsh climate. He hunts a walrus. He builds an igloo, and they survive snowstorms and all this stuff. And it's really interesting to watch how people that have been living on survival skills all this time. I mean, for modern people like us, we are comfortable in the world of living instead of the world of surviving. And one thing I find really fascinating about this film is not just the interesting parts with the family, but also just the landscape alone. I mean, the ice, the snow, the conditions that this family has to live in, it's all really fascinating. And another thing I gotta bring up, it's really tragic, is that the person who plays Nanook in this movie, he didn't live long after this movie was made. I think he died 2 years later. Most people thought he died of starvation. Other people said it was tuberculosis. Either way, I find that really tragic. I mean, I'm not a moron right here. I know all the actors that are in these movies at this point are definitely dead, but it's really sad for someone that is one of the most iconic movies ever made, especially one of the very first documentary movies out there. He didn't live long to see the glory that this movie would bring out. But either way, whether this movie was staged or whether it is real, that is completely up to you. I find this movie to be absolutely fascinating. I mean, come on, guys. What documentary film out there has not been staged? Seriously. But either way, Nanook of the North is definitely a masterpiece. It's something that is definitely rewatchable, so I will say that this movie is most definitely legendary. So guys, Nanook of the North, have you seen it? What did you think of it? If you like this movie, if you have a problem thinking that this movie was staged or something, either way, comment it down below, and also don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share my videos as much as possible so I can finally get monetized enough to challenge other reviewers to do the exact same challenge, and I'll see you in the next video.